So as usual, we are sitting, either in a chair or sitting on the floor, and sitting up as best you can. So we try to have the spine long, and then we'll close our eyes. So the closing of the eyes is this invitation inward. It has that turning in, that beginning to bring our awareness toward the inner world, the inner landscape. So there are cultures that we know of that have this peace woven through them, this leaning toward the internal, this taking care of the internal world. Our culture simply doesn't really do that. Our culture has become fixated on the external, the idea of productivity, of being busy. That's where we receive rewards in our culture. So often these type of practices are seen as an extra or a luxury, that they're not something that we are taught from a young age to pay attention to respect. And that's often the reason why we will drop them until we get to a point at which, in a sense, there's an emergency in which we need to really begin to lean into these practices for support. And the truth is, as much as the external world is a huge and important part of this human experience and a part that we need to pay attention to and be involved in, equally this inner landscape needs to be attended to, needs our awareness, our attention, if we are to find a place of ease or peace or self-worth. When we have thoughts that are uncomfortable or difficult or negative or unkind toward ourselves, it's an indication that we are carrying something in our system that is unattended to, some sort of trauma, pain. And these practices offer us the opportunity to begin to feel into these places, not just through the repetition of thoughts that might arise in our heads, but letting the practice quieten us so that we begin to listen to the body. The body has a wisdom, a language that we are only beginning to learn. So when we begin to practice like this, day in, day out, our capacity to go deeper into the body, deeper into the body, deeper into the body increases. And then we get to meet what it is that we carry. And we let it then begin to unlock itself, so that we don't have to carry it around in that locked up, disconnected way. And in this way we're reclaiming parts of ourselves, parts that have been cut off or locked away or protected or hidden. And the experience of self really begins to change as we do this. This is really how we grow, how we evolve, how we begin to taste a sense of freedom that is inherent to this human experience. To be able to say, I am free. So these practices are a pathway to begin to experience a richer quality of freedom in our lives. Ease, allowing, grace, kindness. All of these begin to rise up from the ground of being, from the deepest places within us. This is our intrinsic nature. So this morning we're going to use a visualization practice. Visualizations can be a little tricky for some of us because they require a particular type of mind. It's using the imagination. So if you find it difficult, if you find it uncomfortable or distracting, feel free to just stay with your breath, to use the practices we've been using. So with our eyes closed, I want you to imagine a white light above your head, above the crown of your head. And this white light has a kind of spiral to it, so it's spiraling, it's moving, it's spinning around. Let's say it's the size of a tennis ball, just this spiral of light. So you'll kind of imagine it, and then it might disappear and you'll come back. You just do the best you can. And what we'll do with this is we're going to breathe it through our system. We're going to breathe it through each of the chakras, each of the energy systems. And these energy systems are like little brains, little places of collected wisdom, collected activity in the system. And what happens as we move this light through the system is we basically clear it. It's like rebooting a computer. It just clears the space. So it brings us back to a sense of neutrality, a sense of ease within ourselves. So it's a great practice to start the day with, but it's also a really good practice if you find yourself stuck in something. You know, if you find yourself looping in the mind, if you find yourself stuck in something, if you find yourself disorientated or caught in some trap, let's say, you know, that kind of internal trap. And it's a great way of just beginning to come back to center, to come back to yourself. So you imagine this spiral of white light above your head. And as you inhale, I want you to breathe it into the crown of the head. So it's kind of half in, half out. And then as you exhale, I want you to send it forward along the crown of the head. And as you inhale, I want you to breathe it back into the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you're going to send it horizontally backwards. And as you inhale, breathe it back in. And as you exhale, send it to the left. Spinning white light, brilliant white light. As you inhale, breathe it back in. And as you exhale, breathe it to the right. Inhale, breathe it back in. And we'll breathe it down internally to the line of the eyebrows. So it's in like right under the brain. Spinning white light. And as you exhale, send it forward out between the eyebrows. As you inhale, breathe it back in. As you exhale, send it backwards. As you inhale, breathe it in. As you exhale, to the left. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhale to the right. Inhale, breathe it back in and all the way down to the throat, so it illuminates the inside of your throat. As you exhale, send it forward. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhale, breathe it behind you, breathe it out the back of the throat. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling to the left. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it to the right. Inhale, breathe it in and down to the center of your chest, illuminating that space. As you exhale, send it forward. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhale, breathe it out the back of the heart. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling to the left. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling to the right. Inhale, breathe it in and all the way down to the solar plexus, the base of the ribs, the diaphragm. As you exhale, send it forward. Inhale, Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it out the back. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling left. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling right. Inhale, breathe it back in, down to the second chakra, about a finger distance below the navel. Exhale, breathe it forward. Spinning white light. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it out the back. Inhale, breathe it back in. Exhaling it out the left side. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it out the right. Inhale, breathe it in, all the way down to the pelvic floor. Exhaling and send it forward. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it out the back. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling left. Inhale, breathe it in. Exhaling it out the right side. Inhale, breathe it back into the pelvic floor. And then let the image dissolve and let your awareness stay close to the breath. Just notice how you're doing. So we're learning to regulate ourselves. A process of taking responsibility for the internal experience and showing us that we have the capacity to create this regulation, to bring us back into balance, to bring us back to a place of greater ease, greater allowance, greater sense of receptivity, sensitivity, awareness. So give yourself a little bit of time, stay with the breath.